Welcome to INS, the International News Service, your source for the most important weird news from across the globe. With news analyst Kevin Harrison, actor, comedian, and musician Mike Wiebe, and professional commentator Brian Camp. INS, the news you need.
Where are you calling us from, Mike?
Miskatonic University.
Whoa.
It's not a real place.
Yes, it is.
No, we're already started doing something stupid.
Look at him. He's reading the Necronomicon as we speak. Where else would you get a copy?
I don't think there's ever been a connection between Miskatonic University and the Necronomicon. I think you're making a leap.
Someone has never read The Shadow over Innsmouth.
That's not even a real book.
It's called a short story?
Fake university.
It's a real university.
Fake story. Fake book.
The Necronomicon's real.
I mean, my uncle has a cabin on the Miskatonic, so...
You seem to be rejecting a lot of things right now, Brian, to just for the world to fit into your worldview.
I've decided to abandon every nonsense theory I've ever held. I'm healing much closer to what I know to be in the known world, the real world. And if you guys want to live in your little fantasy candy land, that's fine.
I support the football team, the Miskatonic Space Squids.
No, they're the Octopods.
That's what the girls are called. No, I'm in Grants Pass, Oregon, or as the swingers scene calls it, Grant's Ass.
I was going to say, Grant's Pass was probably some hardtack and jerky.
What
maybe some pemmican.
It's a lovely town in
Backstrap,
Oregon.
Uh-huh.
Yes, they do have lots of flanks of meat for sale.
Probably a lot of hippies.
I don't know. We literally just rolled in like 15 minutes ago. Got into the room. I jumped on this Zoom call because I have a commitment to the news and to the news-going people,
to our listeners.
To the listeners. And so I'm excited to bring lots of news and then to go out into the town on my night off on the road and try to find some dank heroin.
I'm sure it can be found. I think Grants Pass is on the top 5 on the old heroin capital of the U.S. list.
Yep.
Well, you get a side of meat, some horse.
That's right.
Yeah, that's
Grant famously used laudanum. That's heroin adjacent, I think.
Laudanum takes the opium to be better.
So, Mike, will you tell the listener why it is that you're in Oregon and not
I'm in for the swingers convention?
That's right. Is there a secondary reason that you're in?
Yeah, I'm in a butt fucking competition.
That's right. Other than getting your wick wet, is there anything you were doing other than?
Well, I think we, as maybe last episode, I think we also recorded on the road. My rock and roll band, the Draculas, have been out with
rock and roll. You say?
Yeah, with the Reverend Horton Heat and the Toadies.
Oh,
for the last several weeks, and
so these are Christian bands.
You know, they have themes of Christianity within their music for sure, about spiritualism.
Are there new Toadies songs?
Yeah, they got some new songs.
Okay. I should know. It's been a while. I've not been a constant follower of their. Yeah, they're great live. I remember that.
Yeah,
they're fucking killer. Yeah. And Reverend Horton Heat is really good too. You know, it's one of those things like when the Gamblers a little behind the curtain.
Your other band, the Gamblers.
When the Riverboat Gamblers,
are they a rock and roll outfit?
Yeah, a rock and roll / new wave outfit.
Ooh, new wave,
sure.
We wear a lot of blazers.
A lot of maturity in new wave.
A lot of maturity, a lot of hairspray. But, you know, honestly, like when we started out, because of the name, which was a poorly planned name for a punk band, we got booked on tons and tons of rockabilly stuff. And I got to where I fucking hated rockabilly because we were with a bunch of bad bands. And then being on the road, and I never, like, Reverend Horny, I always thought were cool, but I just, like, stopped listening to anything rockabilly. And being with them on this tour, like, man, they're fucking good. Jesus Christ. Like, I realized that, like, all those other bands were just trying to be this band and failing miserably, you know? Yeah. I mean, for the most part, failing very bad. Like, nobody can touch how fucking good they are. And, like, and they're also not, like, I don't know, they have their own thing going on, too. There's, like, parts of other, you know, styles that kind of slip their way in while remaining like really traditionally cool. But
I believe most things, when they're done exceptionally well, there's some entertainment value already, right?
Yeah.
And I remember seeing Reverend Horn Eaton when we were kids. It was good. Now, are they the originator? Are they the first of the psychobilly bands, or are the only psychobilly band, or are they not a psychobilly band?
They have a song called The Psychobilly Freakout.
That's right, they do. I'm trying to think that's on their first.
There's your answer, Brian.
Yeah.
And like sometimes you like when you're on the road with other bands, and especially when it's kind of like the, you know, they're big established acts and we're, you know, wet behind the ears.
You've never been
first timers
this far west. It's probably freaking you out.
It is. Yeah, I know. It's scary.
Where's the Whataburger?
They don't have them.
Oh, what?
They got something called In and Out.
Oh, gross.
Let me
Both
tell
ways.
You. Yeah, exactly. Let me tell you. That's what happens when you eat it. It goes one in and right out the other. No, thank you, California politics. But
channeling your mom.
Well, I'll get to that. But yeah, sometimes it takes a while because you're kind of separate and stuff. But we've just you're kind of just like, I mean, like any thing where you like have to hang out with somebody for a while, where you kind of like, you know, slowly like open up and get to know each other. But like, man, they're so fucking cool. I really, really like all of them as people. The Rev and Jimbo, the bass player, is like the sweetest dude, and their drummer John is like fucking awesome. Like I'm like, because I was a fan way back in the day, and now I'm kind of like a fan again. I've like been listening to their stuff and realizing like what insane musicians all of them are. I can't remember what the question was, but the other day I was on the phone with my dear mother, and she said, "Well, how's it going out there?" I said, "Pretty good." She said, "Is California still crazy?" And I said, "What do you mean?" And she was like, "Well, I just hear that you got to really like the politics if you're going to be out there,
even to visit, even just to drive through it."
Yeah, like I don't know that at any point when it was a balmy 72 degrees and there were palm trees and ocean air hitting me and there was a sunset, that I thought like, well, thank God that there's more than 4 genders.
Right. I really don't like what they did with their mask mandates.
Yeah.
Too bad. I would have enjoyed this beautiful weather and sunset.
Yeah.
If only it weren't for those LA mask mandates that I heard about.
I can only enjoy the beauty of that mountain because I like homeless people.
That's right. That's right. You're embracing of a socialist
utopia.
Utopia has allowed you to look at Mount Shasta and say, pretty cool.
Otherwise,
I know why they named drinks after that.
Yeah, they would have, because when you're walking around the La Brea tar pits and you're looking at these amazing skeletons of mammoths and stuff, and you're looking at all this history, and right down the street there's all this cool, you know, Hollywood stuff. That you're just taking it all in. Someone will walk up to you and they will ask you, you do reject God, right?
Right. If you're not careful, they'll make you get an abortion, I bet.
And if you say no, they punch you in the face. And they put a rag up to your mouth, and you wake up and you're back in Arizona.
Yeah. No, I get it.
I did get to go to the La Brea Tar Pits, though, and it was super cool.
Did you, was it like the TV show La Brea? I know you're a big fan.
I'm not, I kind of want to see it now.
Well, yeah.
Now I opened up to the idea. Hey, this is crazy. This is fucking crazy, though. So there's La Brea Tar Pits, and you walk around, and there are pits outside, and there's like animatronic robots.
How big is it?
I don't know. It's like just like a mid-sized park. It's not too
Does
big.
it smell like tar? Can you smell the tar?
A little bit, but it doesn't
okay.
smell bad. And there's a bunch of outside stuff, but then there's a museum on the inside, right? And it was like $10, $15 to get in. And that's where they have all the bones and the exhibits, and you press a button.
They pull all those out of the tar pits.
Yeah. There's a bunch they pulled out of the tar pits, and the area was excavated for various mining purposes since like the early 1900s. So that's where they found a lot of the bones, and obviously some of it's just like recreation stuff. But I'm walking through there, and it was like like a Saturday afternoon or a Friday afternoon. There wasn't tons of people out there, but there was some families and people walking in and out of the museum, walking around. And I see these two ladies, just kind of, just middle-aged white ladies between 38 and 51. The two of them. One of them had a dog, and the other one was carrying a little infant, like a really small infant. And they're just meandering around, looking at the exhibits and stuff like that. And it's kind of a big open museum. You kind of cross and pass. And at some point, I noticed something odd about one of the ladies, or less about the ladies, but about her baby. And I realized this baby that she was gingerly carrying was completely fake. It was a doll.
Wow.
With very, very like realistic looking hair drawn on it.
Drawn on it?
It wasn't, because I don't think it was like painted on.
So it was like an infant that would normally have just wisps of hair, and they created that look.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
man.
It was a miniature infant, and she was cradling it in her arms in a very like, it wasn't like I'm carrying this around for my kid or something like that. Like I just happened, like I don't want to lose it, so I happened. She was carrying it as if you would carefully carry around a newborn. Like,
did it look store-bought? Was there any chance it was a store-bought doll? Or do you think there was...
I couldn't get super close.
Oh, I bet you tried though.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and I got a picture. I'll share the... I mean, I don't know. I feel weird. I don't know if we should share a picture or whatever. You can't tell whatever. I don't care.
It depends if you make up a sad story about it or a crazy story about it.
Well, I mean, that's what it is. Like, is it a crazy lady baby, or is it a grief baby? Or is it a get ready for carrying around a baby? Like, she was a bigger lady, but I couldn't tell if she was pregnant or post-pregnant.
If you don't name the next Dracula's record Grief Baby, I'm going to be very upset.
That is a pretty good title. Yeah, because I've heard of that thing before.
Yeah.
And I do regret not going, yo, what the fuck? Your baby fake.
Well, I also thought, like, when you started, I thought it was going to culminate with like a dramatic throwing of the baby in the tar pit, like some sort of either as a protest or a gag. But were they smiling? Was there anything about them that
they weren't like having a jovial time, but they were just like walking around. The other lady had a dog with her too, but the dog was real and alive.
Is there any chance that it was some sort of doll but was possessed with the recently deceased?
I mean, that's the most obvious.
Right.
That's Occam's razor suggests that's what was going on.
Right.
That it was, a possessed doll.
Sure. Man, that's a crazy thing to see, Mike.
Yeah, it was wild. It was super wild. And I'll say this too. This is on this tour. This is other first experience. I've been past a lot of car wrecks. I've been in car wrecks that I've cursed whoever got into a car wreck that but we were in Arizona, and this was the first time I ever drove by, and it was really close because it was 2 lanes. Drove by the body.
Oh no!
The body's just sitting right there in a body bag, but you could kind of see it wasn't even a body bag. I don't think the cops were prepared for that. Because the ambulances hadn't even shown up. They had like some sort of a blanket that they had pulled out, and you could kind of see.
Was it a single car accident?
It was a motorcycle. It was a motorcycle hit a car.
Wow!
The car didn't even look too fucked up at all either.
No. Man, did you see enough of the wreck to reconstruct it in your mind, or was it just
when a
motorcycle hits car?
Yeah, no, not really. It didn't. I mean, like again, it didn't really look like. That's the scary thing about motorcycles. It didn't look like. I mean, I've been by some pretty horrific wrecks before and seen body bags. Seen people kind of just like, like cars that were super crumpled up. But this just looked like
you clip a motorcycle. The motorcycle may not even look that damaged, but you throw the person off.
Yeah.
Well, that's a happy note to start.
Yeah.
But it's news.
It is news. Listen, sometimes the news isn't all about sunshine and cheeriness. Sometimes it's about the truth.
I'm pretty stoked that Ukraine's gotten the INS bump and they're starting to take back territory and move back.
Right, obviously.
I think our telling people about their plight and their people, and that half hour period where we changed our Twitter avatar to the Ukraine flag, I think did a lot.
Right. Well, we're people of the people.
Right, exactly.
We're people.
You look like you're wearing a robe.
No, I'm wearing a cardigan right now because it's really kind of chilly in this house, this Airbnb that I'm in.
It's light there, but it's dark where me and Brian are.
Yeah,
there's lots of,
it's throwing us off.
Empty shelves in the Airbnb.
Yeah, there's some empty shelves. We got there's some kind of vaguely New Mexican stuff in Arizona. It looks like. Mm-hmm. Is that a callback to the horrific story I just told?
That's right. Callback to the.
Glad you're showing things to us for the listener in an audio medium.
For the listener, Michael just showed a miniature Navajo rug.
Yeah, well, I think that our audience has vivid imaginations.
Mm-hmm. Right. That's half the fun of a radio play like this.
Mm-hmm. I hope they imagine me much more.
Hold on. I gotta get on my horse.
What?
There he goes, riding away.
Well, bye, Mike.
So long, cowboy.
I'm back.
Oh, there he is.
He's back, riding the range. Kevin, can we please get started?
Yeah, good God.
Welcome to the International News Service. We're your hosts. I'm Kevin Harrison, along with...
I'm Brian Camp.
I am the spirit of the woolly mammoth, transported into man. Mammoth, Mike Wiebe.
Manmouth is another great name. Because everybody would want to say man
people
moth.
Would think you were like a man moth.
You
like
can correct them. Man. You correct them constantly, though.
Yeah,
it's Manmouth.
It's Manmouth.
Get real mad, and then they'll say, "Oh, the end's silent." No, it's Manmouth.
And I don't really get bigger or stronger. It's just I have tusks that grow out of my face. That reminds me of it's so dumb, but like one of my favorite Simpsons jokes was when Bart gets an elephant and Marge goes,
Stampy?
Be careful. Yeah, Stampy. But Marge goes, be careful. He looks like he could gore. And then Homer goes, he does look like Al Gore.
So this week, we've got 2 news stories, a bonus story for our Patreon subscribers, and Mike is on tour with the Draculas, so he has a new road story for us. And I'm really liking this road story bit.
It's not a bit. It's just reporting.
It's true stories.
These are our own Irma Bombeck.
Tales of the road.
Oh, you're talking about former Ohioan Irma Bombeck.
Yeah, that's the bad part, though.
Yeah.
It's rude to bring up things like that about a person, so I didn't want to say anything.
Former Ohioan.
Well, it's former because she's dead.
Current North Korean.
That's what it's like going into California. It's like going from South to North Korea.
It is. It's still, hey, you guys, it's still crazy out here.
So before we get started here, I just want to let our listeners know. We dropped an INS original animation short. It was animated by Patrick Osterwald of Crudely Drawn, and it's great. If you haven't seen it, go to our social media, go to our YouTube or our TikTok or our Facebook and check it out. Because
now is that the New Hampshire Osterwalds?
Sure.
It is good. My wife even said that she liked it, and she is not a fan of this show.
She hates it, doesn't she?
She does enjoy coming in to yell at you while you're recording the show, though.
I don't know if she enjoys it, but she does relish in it.
Any opportunity to belittle Mike, she takes advantage of it. That's.
I mean, can you blame her? I mean, he's such a easy target.
Wow, Kevin, Let's try to keep it professional. We're doing the news.
Okay.
Oh, and thank Mr. Osterwald. Thank you, Mr. Osterwald.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it is really good. Super cool.
And check out his other animation on the Crudely Drawn channel on YouTube. He's got other stuff, and it's all great.
Right.
I like how you just search for the word YouTube as if there's other like there's what's the name of that site with all the fucking videos on it?
There's Vimeo. There's Daily Motion.
Yeah, but those are just secondary hosting sites. Daily Motion.
Archive.org.
That's a fucking sex show.
No, that's not a sex show.
Okay, whatever. Daily Motion. The motion is the fucking ocean. It means like the motion of the ocean is what it makes the love potion, like up and down, up and down. You know, like humping.
Oh, okay. Now I get it. Anytime anybody says humping, I immediately, now I think of your story about the hoe house, but I immediately think of like elementary school kids talking about sex.
Yeah.
It's always
humping. I've been trying to, I would like to figure out who that is, and just, it would be great to find that kid now and find out if he would just keep continuing on that lie about
No, that really happened, man.
I never got the name of the hoe house,
right,
where it was located.
He'd still hang on to the lie, but what he would admit would be like the little details around it. Like I didn't realize how rare it was at the time, you know.
Yeah.
And afterwards, I talked to my dad, wouldn't say anything about it, so it's kind of secret.
Yeah,
you know. So you would have to explain away the fact that it's the dumbest lie ever told. You would have to have some sort of cover for his terrible, terrible lie.
But you know what? Shout out to all the people that are working in hoe houses.
Yeah. Sex work is real work. So our first story comes to us from Vice.
Ooh, that's a place that goes to a hoe house.
Mm-hmm. One kind of Vice. This one may be more of a hirsute lovers type of a Vice. So back in episode 14, we discussed Yeti sightings in Russia that turned out to be a hoax.
Dog hair, right? Yeah, wasn't it the Yeti costume made out of dog hair?
Costume. Okay. It was a long time ago. It was over a year and a half. This is episode 90. That was episode 14.
Jesus.
So that turned out to be a hoax. But a 1958 Russian manuscript was just translated into English, and it tells the tale of a Soviet expedition to find a Bigfoot in the Caucasus Mountains. For years, the only known copy of the manuscript was locked away in the Moscow Library, but someone at the UK Center for Fortean Cryptozoology got in touch with the grandson of the head of the expedition, and he had a copy that he was willing to translate. The expedition was headed by a historian, but it included folklorists, geologists, and anthropologists. Some of the tales collected from locals included naked man bears, also called the Almasty. They're known for being tall, hairy creatures that walk on two legs and have a shrill cry and feet twice the size of a human's. There were also stories of shaggy-headed, fur-covered creatures with, quote, long breasts.
This is just that cartoon, the Hair Bear Bunch. They just watched an episode of the Hair Bear Bunch.
What is the Hair Bear Bunch?
You don't remember the Hair Bear Bunch?
No. That was like 1982. This is 1958.
No, that was pretty
an old cartoon. Yeah. You might be talking about the remake.
It was three bears they looked exactly like described there, and they drove around in a dune buggy and had, I would say, solved mysteries, but it was more just kind of like,
this is a fever dream.
Adventures.
Yeah, it was adventures.
Are you corroborating the existence of this cartoon, Kevin?
The Hair Bear Bunch was real.
I've never heard of it. I've never seen it. That's awesome.
It was awesome. Well, let me say, Hair Bear Bunch is an American animated television series. It was a Hanna-Barbera show. It was about these two individuals who patrol the zoo in which the bears live, but the bears are always getting out, causing mayhem.
I'm just going to point out, the show was actually called Help! It's the Hair Bear Bunch. And they made 60 episodes that were broadcast between 1971 and 1972.
You know what, Mike? I'm going to put a call out. I'm going to make a request. When you return from the road and
yes,
the next time you want people to know a little bit about the podcast, I think people would like to hear a little bit about the history of Hanna-Barbera.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
You can get a lot of places. There's a lot of stuff will come. And I've been watching a lot of Tom and Jerry lately.
Oh, the Hanna-Barbera ones are good. After that are not great. Good.
There's some good stuff mixed in.
Let me just give just real quick. The three members of the Hair Bear Bunch are Hair Bear, who was the afro-wearing leader of the Hair Bear Bunch.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And the guy that did his voice was trying to do a Phil Silvers voice. Paul Winchell did Booby Bear, the more, quote, level-headed Confederate to the Hair Bear, although he sometimes speaks in unintelligible gibberish. And then the last bear was Square Bear, the most idiotic, dim-witted of the three bears, though he's usually the one who conjures up the invisible motorcycles they use to make their escapes. His personality has been described as dopey and laid back. So that's kind of all you need to know about the Hair Bear Bunch.
All right.
So the legends of these different Russian Yeti...
Yeah, we're back to Russian Bigfoot hunters, right?
Yeah, Russian Yeti / Bigfoot. So supposedly, these Russian Bigfoot would sit for hours on earthen mounds, leaving behind deep imprints of their asses. Researchers found most sightings stopped around the time of the Russian Revolution, with one researcher observing, quote, "Before the revolution, there were wild men, and now there are not." But the expedition was widely considered a failure when it didn't turn up any physical evidence. The Russian scientific establishment labeled the whole thing pseudoscience, which, if you research a lot of what they researched, if you look into a lot of what they researched during the Cold War, a lot of it was pseudoscience. I don't know how it's any different than this.
In Russia, science pseudos you.
And then most of the researchers involved ended up denouncing the expedition's leader. Nevertheless, the expedition's leader continued Bigfoot research throughout Central Asia into the 1980s, which led to growing interest in the Yeti and various wild men, even to the point where in 2016, Vladimir Putin was vacationing in the Kemerovo region when he claimed he saw a family of Yetis.
What?
Story about it in the Siberian Times. Would the Siberian Times lie?
If you're a believer in Bigfoot, then you have allied yourself with Vladimir Putin. Is that what you're saying?
I don't think that they allied. I think
he
just observed them.
Yeti. Big difference.
Yeti. Okay.
Big difference. Their politics is what's different.
Well, the Yetis will rip off your clothes and point at your rectum.
Oh, the rectum, Mike.
Yeah, damn near killed him.
What does a Bigfoot do if... How is that different than a Bigfoot?
But it's like, just picks it up and go, ha, 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 look at rectum. And then all the forest animals just like salute.
Good Russian.
Look at round rectum. I will break it. And then it starts smacking it. And then once your rectum is red, and like so red that there's like it's welts and sores, they pour vodka on it.
Ow!
That's the Russian way, I guess.
Well, I mean, that's what Russian Yetis do, fuckers.
Now, do they take pleasure in this act? It
seems to be, from the accounts that I've read from a recently released cryptozoological tome
from the UK's Center for 40 and Cryptozoology.
Yeah. That's where I went, and
I think that's where I saw it. Yeah.
That's where I saw it. Yeah, and apparently it's not so much pleasure. It seems like it's something that's mandated by the state. That it's a very they're being forced to believe that it's a good thing. It's very similar to what's going on in California, where they're forcing everyone to be socialist, stooges, and they like to make people think that they like things that they don't actually like. And if you have an opinion or if you own a Bible, guess what's getting laughed at? Your front rectum and your back rectum.
What is your front rectum?
Your front rectum.
The front rectum is the term for male or female genitals when you're trying to whatever's up front.
I don't think anybody's ever called it that before tonight.
A lot of people have been calling it that before.
It seems like a very California genderless label.
That might be part of it.
Classic.
That might be part of it.
Yeah.
Because it's because like saying penis or vagina connotates gender, but in California and in Russia, they don't do that. So they just call it a front rectum.
I think North Korea, California, and Russia all very similar in their appeal to the people who enjoy living there.
Yeah, in a lot of ways.
Well, Vladimir Putin is the leader of both, right?
Sure.
They all produce movies too.
I mean,
watch what you say then, right? You hate to upset an audience.
We just produced a short movie, posted it on YouTube.
No, these are features.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the big time.
This is movies that are fast, furious. A lot more muscles in these movies.
Did we have a story about mushroom loving mountain people?
Mushroom Groovy?
No, that's your favorite band. Second only to Mingo Fish Trap.
Glad we can make references to Denton bands from 1995.
I'm a Love Swing fan.
Yeah, I believe it. They were great.
So our next story comes to us from WHEC Channel 10 in Rochester, New York. As we've discussed in the past, Mike's old house had a problem with raccoons. So maybe, Mike, do you want to explain what was happening?
Oh, yeah. No, I haven't had any. It's weird. I've not had any raccoon problems once I moved out to the country.
Okay.
I haven't had raccoon problems. It was when I was in the city, my last house in town, in Austin proper, did have raccoon problems. We did see one at the new house, but it just went by and, made a snarky comment about my genitals. But yeah, no, we at the old house we had some raccoons that were jumping up and ripping up the top of the roof.
Ooh, are they getting into your attic?
Well, no, they didn't. So I've actually multiple houses I've had raccoon problems, but the last one they were ripping up. There's like pipes that come down into the house, and then the raccoons can smell, and they were like ripping it up trying to get in, but they never got in. The house before that, I would go up into the attic and catch raccoons in the attic, and they'd look at me and I'd look at him, and we'd both go like, it's kind of have a real good, the bad, and the ugly style standoff.
Yeah, they used to get in through like your cat door.
Oh yeah, and then that was just fucking all kinds of raccoon problems. How
many? Let me ask you something. Between the last two houses you lived in, how many raccoons have you had to deal with approximately, like the ballpark?
Okay, new country house. I've seen them not had a problem.
Sorry, last three, right?
Okay, the house before that, the Austin house number 2. They were ripping up the roof and sneaking in through the cat door. And then the house before that, they were getting into the attic. So yeah, that's we fixed the hole in the roof, and they stopped. Or there was we figured out the hole that they were getting into the attic. But and then also one time I caught one, and he'd found my PIN number and. He was ordering a bunch of
number.
To my Amazon account.
Oh no!
And it was ordering a bunch of stuff online.
Right. What was it ordering?
Bunch of just high-end espresso makers. A lot of Dinar Kuntz novels.
Right. Probably just to build nests with, is my guess, right? That's good nesting
I don't know.
material.
I mean, but specifically, they were autographed.
Oh, wow.
A lot of stuff from the autograph store, autograph
odd series
things. Yeah. Autograph picture of the guy that played the guy from Bonanza. A lot of autograph stuff.
Lauren Green?
The other guy. Hoss.
Oh, Hoss. I don't know that guy's name.
James Arness.
That was Gunsmoke.
Hey, you know what'd be a good name for a male porn star? James Aness.
That's a good name.
So you may be able to relate to this next story, Mike.
I'm sure I can.
Mm-hmm.
An Albany County, New York legislator named Sam Fain said raccoons have invaded his apartment at Sam Fain.
Halloween.
That's Glenn Danzig.
It's actually pronounced Saladin.
Oh, you made one person very happy.
Somebody was writing an email and went, I don't have to finish this.
Actually,
so Sam Fain had said raccoons have invaded his apartment at least 3 times in recent weeks.
Shit.
The most recent incident happened when they chewed through a window screen while he was at the lake for the weekend. He found out about it when he got a call from his neighbor about mysterious noises coming from his apartment. The man had a web camera installed, so he turned it on to discover raccoons rummaging through the house, stealing food, and leaving some messes behind. But that's not the worst part. He discovered that apparently these raccoons also hated America. Quote, I noticed they got into a cabinet that had a folded up American flag in it, and they pooped on the American flag.
Sounds like these raccoons are from California.
New York.
Well, I mean, honestly, same difference.
There you go.
We can only hope that Mike's raccoons have more respect for freedom.
I love that these were the Abby Hoffmans of raccoons.
The raccoon underground.
My first question is this a story we believe? Or did this guy purposely, is he creating some sort of buzz for his political career by leaving town and allowing raccoons to enter? He happens to catch it. I mean, anybody can get raccoon poop.
There was video evidence.
Well, yeah, he let him in. I mean, do we have proof that raccoons actually broke into his house as opposed to being allowed into his house? And then he goes out of town for a while and films it, and then he's got wacky raccoon hijinks. And it's probably distracting people from the real scandal.
What's that?
Something to do with hoe houses in New York.
Yep.
In this legislator. It's my guess. That's my educated guess.
I bet he's been caught at a hoe house. I wonder though, like if it was like a statement by the raccoons, like this guy is trying to make it. The only way I would believe it is if the raccoon went to the American flag and stood on it and then turned around so the camera could see it and spread its butt cheeks as it took a shit and looked into the camera.
With his little paws.
Yeah, spread his with his little paws and looked into the camera and just goes, I don't know how raccoons talk, but I imagine it's very hissy.
Chittering.
Yeah. And just was like, late stage capitalism.
The go-to phrase of the intelligentsia. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
and then one of the other raccoons gets in the camera and goes, AOC rules.
Well, it is
that
New
reminds
York.
me of, and I know it's just like referencing a thing, but like,
unlike mentioning the Hair Bear Bunch,
that wasn't referencing. That was archiving.
That was exploring a connection to a story, right?
Oh, okay, totally different. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
This is just. Do you guys remember that Mr. Show sketch where they talk about how they designed the American flag with colors and patterns so it makes you unable to shit on it?
Oh yeah, that's in the first season.
I don't think I remember that one.
It was one where David Cross was like a Abby Hoffman type protester. He was going to shit on the flag, but he just got constipated and couldn't. And then it flashes back to like the founding fathers, but also Abraham Lincoln is one of the founding fathers. And he talks like this. And they talk about how they design these colors and things so people will be unable to shit when they look at it.
Is that show good on rewatch?
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of datedness
of its
to it,
era, or right.
There's a little bit of that of like this was very edgy for that era, but a lot of it's just still like specifically funny, and a lot of it I think is because they don't really. Very little of it is SNL style. Like we're making fun of a thing that happened this week or this year. It's all kind of just
timeless comedy.
Speaking of this year, instead of a sketch comedy show that was canceled 25 years ago. So how did you get the raccoons out of your house, Mike?
I turned on an episode of Mr. Show and I blared it real loud, and and I remember what sketch it was specifically. It was the sketch about the Monster Mash kind of thing.
That's a good one.
And that's season 3. I could keep talking about Mr. Show and how it helped me save my house.
Well, that'll be our next podcast, the Mr. Showcast.
I bet there is one of those. I doubt they're doing numbers like we do, but I bet there is one of those. Did you know that raccoons have a bone in their penis?
Huh?
Well, I think all mammals except for humans do.
Oh, that can't be true.
That can't be true.
I saw a Discovery Channel show about it.
That's that.
Wow.
I don't believe that one.
They showed the smallest penis bone, which came from some little mouse. And it was just like a millimeter. And then they're like, and this is the largest penis bone. And it came from a big whale. And it was like a leg.
Was it a sperm whale?
Yeah. Gotcha, bitch. Got your ass, bitch.
What? What did you get?
Your ass just got, motherfucker.
I don't understand what you got.
Got your ass.
think this is the energy we needed to start the show on. Let's start over.
Oh no, this is good.
You motherfucker.
We're doing more about raccoons now. Are we back on them?
So our next story is a bonus story.
Bonus, motherfucker.
If you want to listen to this story, go to our Patreon and subscribe at least the $3 level. That's the Knights of Kevin level. And you get access to this and all of our other bonus stories. I was trying to total it up earlier today. It's like 10 or 12 hours worth of material at this point.
Oh, wow.
$3.
It's also an easy way to demonstrate that you're a decent human being.
Yeah, and all the work that we put into this. And also, here's what I'm going to start saying. Hey, don't patronize me. Patronize me.
So give you a little taste.
Oh.
This story is about a live news broadcast that went to check on what was backing up an accident and saw something they did not want to identify on the air.
Well, wait, is this the story about me finding a body that I told you a few minutes ago?
No, it's a different accident.
I bet it's not as good as mine.
You'll have to tune into our Patreon to find out, Mike. So that wraps up another week of the International News Service. Find us across social media at International News Pod. Email us at internationalnewspod@gmail.com. If you want to keep raccoons out of your house, just keep blasting INS when you're gone all day, every day, and expect some calls from the neighbors asking about the lovely dulcet tones coming from next door. Check out the INS merch store at Redbubble and our Patreon. We'll see you next week.
Thank you for listening to the International News Service. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. INS, the news you need.